Welcome to Kitchen Table Conversations, a series of short and shareable conversation starters for those of us who have or love and support people with a complicated and beautiful brain. Here's your host, Angela Geddes.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kitchen Table Conversations. Thanks once again for tuning in, or if this is the first time, I really appreciate you checking us out. And just a reminder to all that the reason why we chose the title, Kitchen Table Conversations, for this podcast is because we do recognize that in order to make significant impact or any kind of change in perspective or to enlighten and to learn, we need to trust the people that we're getting the information from. And most of us really tend to rely on people around our own kitchen tables, our moms, our aunties, our dads, our grandpas, and the people that gather around our homes and our communities. And that's where a lot of the meaningful information gets shared. And for those of you who know me, I am a social worker in private practice with a particular interest in individuals who have more subtle presentations or maybe some puzzling presentations. So I'm particularly interested in, people who experience mental health concerns that are coupled with executive functioning or planning difficulties, and sometimes there's areas of learning that are challenging. But most of the people, all of the people that I work with are incredibly bright and motivated and inspiring and resourceful and really, really interested in living their best lives, just like all of us are. So I just am really honored to walk alongside so many creative individuals. And a lot of the work that I've been doing and a lot of the themes lately has been around acceptance and really taking some time to understand that, what we think might be typical maybe isn't, and that, some of the difficulties that people are experiencing do need to be further understood and supported in a different way, rather than just kind of assuming that people are going to conform or people are going to learn in the traditional ways, and that their misbehavior or complexities or what might seem to be kind of defiance or people who are just not learning from their mistakes, that's just, not as deliberate as what we might be assuming it is to be. So once again, I'm particularly passionate about the hidden ones and to help people understand how to get some of the supports that they need and maybe what is behind some of these complexities. And oftentimes, in addition to mental health concerns, there is something that's a little bit more complex, and it would be considered a complex neurodevelopmental disorder, which includes things like ADHD, autism spectrum disorder, and certainly fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. We talked last week about neurodivergence, and there's a number of different conditions that would fall under that umbrella, and that it's still kind of an evolving thing. But I am, really interested in helping to build a more inclusive service delivery system. And so I work with a variety of people who inspire me and teach me every single day. And most of them are the people who either experience these complex neurodevelopmental disorders themselves or through a caregiving role. But I also am inspired by many professionals in the field who've been working for, many, many years to help put individuals, whether they be children, adolescents, or adults and families, on a pathway to relevant and helpful supports. So recently, I have been working with Dr. Claire Mitchell, who originally authored a quick and easy practical approach, she called it, a little booklet to help families who were just going through the process of understanding that there's something that might not be quite right with the people that they love and support. So this booklet, again, was written a few years ago, and I've taken it and had some fun with it. And together we've come up with a bit of a little handbook to help families and individuals start at the beginning by accepting that there are some issues that need to be further understood. Recognizing that when the problem is not improving with usual or recommended strategies, then it's necessary to explore why. And then it's also really important for us to understand that our end goals are the same, but we might have to look at a different approach, because if our typical parenting strategies aren't working, there's a reason for that. And so we have to figure out and become kind of private investigators to try to figure out why and what is this behavior telling us. And we also, as people who love and support people with complicated and beautiful brains, we also have to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves, are we well rested? Are we in good physical health? Are we eating properly? Are we doing what we need to do that will allow us the energy to devote the time that it's going to take to address some of these problem areas? And then also we talked about the importance of everybody who loves and supports the child. Are they all in agreement? Like, are we all in agreement that there's something here that's complicated and that we need to understand? Because if there's conflict, or if one person is saying, he'll grow out of it and we don't need to be doing all this extra investigation or all the appointments that we need to make with a variety of professionals. If people are not in agreement, that's going to make this process a little bit more complicated. This booklet also goes on to touch on the importance of getting organized. So it suggests, maybe electronic file folders, but also maybe old school, carrying a binder or some folders that you can take some of these previous reports with you to different places and to share with different providers that might be involved with your person. So it's, recommended that we make sure that we go to a developmental pediatrician or a specialist to see what might be going on medically with your child, and then also request referrals to speech and language pathologists, for example, or occupational therapists or physiotherapists to further investigate sensory issues and fine and gross motor skills and speech development, that kind of thing. So we really, really suggest diagnostic clarity and pulling all things together, and with a particular interest and focus on identifying and really paying attention to the strengths of the individual, because we all need to shine and we all need to be recognized for the things that we do well. And so often they can be kind of overshadowed by the ongoing problem areas. So this booklet also gives some strategies to connect with the school system and to be aware of some of the additional supports and services that could be available or that we might have to advocate for. And then it also suggests to take some time to really kind of prioritize what areas of difficulty you might be experiencing, as this will give us a place to start and to help us to feel like we're targeting a specific area, we've got a place to start, and we're aiming towards some improved outcomes. So this booklet also then discusses the importance of finding helpful treatment options and to take some time to consider plans for the future and moving forward. Once again, that's why it really is helpful to kind of stay organized and keep everything in one place, so that when you do get asked a specific question, everything is available to you when you're making various applications, or when you're transitioning from elementary school to high school, then you might need to be exploring different options. So everything is just sort of handy and together, which is so important because life can get very busy and chaotic for all of us, and in particular for people who are supporting individuals with very complex needs. And I've seen many families, just spend so much time searching for previous reports and different resources that they'd had given to them in the past. And it just can be really overwhelming, and we just don't need to add any more things to our plate. I often say in the work that I do is that, the important thing is, like we mentioned at the very beginning of this, is that we need to acknowledge that there is a problem. And I think sometimes, that can be really, really difficult, and that can be really emotional, especially when we're so, kind of clouded with the amount of love and commitment and worry that we have for our children naturally. And we all have the ability to sort of normalize things that are really not typical. And that's okay. That's just the way things are. But we have to get to a point where we do acknowledge that there is a problem, or there are areas of challenge that we need to understand a little bit better. And, we can either make this problem bigger, or we can make this problem smaller. The problems, they don't go away, but the way that we respond to them can make all the difference. So once again, we put together this booklet as a bit of a framework for individuals and families to help prepare them for the road ahead. So you can find this booklet. It's going to be available on my website. So feel free to hop on and check it out. And I will continue to share it with the families that come and see me for support, as will Dr. Claire Mitchell. And we encourage you all to download it and use it for your personal use, or to certainly share it with an individual or family that you think may really find it helpful. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this kitchen table conversation. And once again, it's our hope that you bring this back to your own kitchen tables and keep these conversations going. With many thanks, Angela.